Imagine not watching Last Boss Queen, especially after its third episode. Couldn't be me. I am loving this. I am almost salty at myself for considering that it might not be that interesting walking into this season, but I had enough people say, you know what, give it a go, it's one of my faves in the genre, so I was like, sure, why not? This has turned out to be one of my personal favorites of this summer 23 season, no joke. In terms of brand new stuff, I might even say it's like my third favorite right now. Like, it is just so good, it's so fresh, and the thing that hooks me in is the fact that they actually make us say, wow, this last boss queen, like every damn Otome game says like they're either the villainess or like the last boss. But half the time, actually, you know what, a majority of the time for anime anyway, they are just kind of a bully. They're kind of a dick, but they're not really Dio level evil. But when you really, every episode, see either actions she's done or we see attributes about her that explain why she's so twisted. In this episode, as an example, our girl masters anything just like that. So by observing swordplay, she was a master. The first time she picks up a sword, she is swashbuckling away to victory because she examined it one time. Imagine that. Imagine a pure evil character who gets a boy to kill his mother for the lulz, who has the abilities to master anything by just observing. That explains why she's the last boss queen and why this show is absolutely 10 out of 10 for me, at least right now. Now, I do have a full live reaction to today's wonderful third episode available on my Patreon. If you would like to see my full uncut thoughts, I mean, they got guns in this episode, man. That honestly shook me, and the way they're just capping fools, all that excitement's over there if you would like to see me as I'm watching today's episode. Now, I really think this show is something special. While maybe you can nitpick some animation, especially like when our girl's kind of dancing around, stabbing fools left and right, you know, you do have to at least commend the fact that it's not just like a simple stab movement. They actually did go the route of like twisting her arm and everything to show different blade movements. So while it may not be the most refined animation in an action scene, you have to admit there actually is some pretty good choreography going on all at the same time. And for an episode that really is showing us how she's changing things for the better, yes, there's the fear, as we saw with last week, Stale having a dream of something that could still happen, something from a different timeline. We don't know exactly where they're going, but the question does remain, like, the more characters she influences and changes the fates of, will they have these visions or dreams that will make them maybe potentially wary of her, or is it something that will be beneficial for her? We don't know, but as we see, she is gaining the support at a steady pace. Now, Stale was already pretty much, we're golden in that area right now, but I love the fact that we're showing how she's gaining the loyalty of the knights. Now, as we see, she has a bit of an outburst saying, I had a vision. Of course, she knows that everything's going to crumble, a bunch of people are going to die. But the fact that we had, you know, certain remarks from certain powerful people within this group, pretty much looking, being like, I wonder what type of twisted desire or plan she has up her sleeve. And the fact that she jumps into the middle of that battlefield for a single soldier, right? Now, who would ever do that? Even a good person, a good ruler, probably wouldn't do that because they're the next in line for the throne. You can't put yourself in danger when you have a whole country to rule. And this girl had Stale teleport her in, and she literally is swashbuckling to freedom. And honestly, you have to respect the way that they're going about changing the perception of a spoiled brat who made her servant's life living hells to now being this girl who not only treats someone who she doesn't have to treat right, but makes Stale this, you know, perfect companion for her, to then going and giving and potentially risking her life for a single soldier. Doesn't matter if it's a captain, doesn't matter if it's the most powerful member in that army, no one would do that. So while it's reckless, the fact that she's really trying to save not only herself, but these people, because this is no longer a game. These are real living and breathing people. And the fact that this show no longer treats it as a game. Like, we have the establishing moment, and yes, we have the reference of, like, yes, she knows of certain plot points, but rather than most of these Otome Game, where basically the MC beats us over the head with a mallet saying, hey, this is a game, and this is how they do it in the game. No, pretty much everything that Pride says is, like, she acts like they're people, and I think that really helps to sell that we know this is one of the more dangerous Otome Game anime out there. That all this can still happen, all these bad flags can still happen, and people can and will die. The opening honestly has a lot of ominous imagery, whether it's hands about to reach out and then it fades away. There's a lot of bloodshed in that opening. We know this is going to get crazy, and I love the fact that they don't just jump into edge. They don't just every episode start off saying, hey, here's a female Dio killing dogs for fun. No, at the appropriate moments, they show us the twistedness of what she's done, and it's only gonna get eviler, it's only ever gonna get crazier, but I love the fact that we're seeing why she's going at it 110% every single time. And, you know, I have to admit, while the guns definitely took me by surprise, it was rather refreshing, because at first I was like, wait a second, they got guns? And then I was like, okay, it's like just a classic revolver, and then they got like the most modern pistols you could see. I'm like, I was not expecting that. Sure, you got some magical TVs to talk through. Sure, that makes sense in Otome Game. Swordplay, that makes sense. But now I'm looking at this world being like, damn bro, this is maybe a little more modern than I was giving credit to, and honestly, respect. Like, I think my opinion of this type of anime has been they're really funny or they're just kind of whatever. Like, out of everything I've seen over the past 10 years of what's been adapted, that's what it is. I either laugh a lot or I'm just kind of bored out of my mind. This one, I'm like, okay, we hit the serious jackpot. A majority of an episode isn't dark at face value, but there's this element, this ominous vibe. I mean, look at the first 30 seconds of this episode, that organ being played, that felt like we're at Phantom of the Opera or something. Like, the music, the atmosphere, the flashback, or just the small glimpses of old evil pride or what future evil pride can be, it's doing a remarkable job, and this is truly one of the most fun series I am following, hands down, where the writing is actually pretty damn stellar. It's a night and day difference going from a character that was more of a bully with some dickish actions to, oh my god, yeah, this is evil. And I love how it's not even just specifically, oh, here's an action that was just beyond twisted. It's the fact that her character was ridiculously powerful. This might be the first time I truly feel like the name of an Otome Game anime, like Last Boss Queen, lives up, because if your character is so ridiculously talented, so smart and insane, that by observing swordplay one time, she's a master at stabbing fools, and she is someone who would make little boys kill their mothers for fun, she would be going into an ancient library, picking out the oldest tome out there, mastering the ability to summon Satan like that, and just summoning the apocalypse because her soup was a little too cold for her liking at dinner. Like, that's who we're dealing with. And it is so refreshing, and the fact that they treat it as this is now reality, this is no longer a game, these futures can still happen, and the fact that it's not like, you know, oh, we started before anything happened. We started deep in her life, all things considered, and while a lot of the worst plot points haven't happened yet and she's avoided a lot, they can still happen, and it is so refreshing to see what they're doing with this one. Now, of course, those are just my feelings. Let me know what you're thinking of Last Boss Queen. We're now 3 episodes in. How are you feeling? Whether if you know of that source material or if you're anime original like myself, let me know down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload more videos to the channel, and hey, like I mentioned, full live reaction to today's wonderful episode is available on my Patreon if you're interested. And while you're there, you can also get a video shout out. So today we have Leon Garcia, James Anderson, Gareth Green, and Jessica Compton. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.